Think about the last time someone convinced you to do something without you even realizing you were being steered. Chances are, they didn't force you. They didn't argue relentlessly. Instead, they suggested it. They made the idea appear attractive, logical, or even like it was your own brilliant thought all along. This subtle art of influence is what we can call the suggestion sway, a core tactic deeply understood by Niccolò Machiavelli centuries ago. While often painted as a champion of ruthless force and fear, Machiavelli's genius lay equally in recognizing the immense power of guiding people gently, making them want to move in your direction, fully convinced they're choosing their own path. It's control disguised as free will, influence without the visible fist. Let's delve deeper into how this Machiavellian dance works in our everyday lives, using simple language and relatable situations. Machiavelli observed that humans are fundamentally driven by their own self-interest, desires, fears, and need for security. Trying to shove them directly against these powerful currents is exhausting, breeds resentment, and often fails. The smarter, more Machiavellian path? Work with these currents, understand them, shape them gently, and then position your desired outcome as the most natural, appealing, or even the only sensible solution to their own perceived needs or problems. It's less about commanding obedience and more about cultivating the soil so your preferred seed sprouts naturally in their mind. Think of it not as pulling a horse to water, but making it thirsty, and then ensuring your trough is the closest and shiniest. A fundamental tactic is the careful control of options. You rarely present a stark do this or else. Instead, you meticulously craft the menu, ensuring every choice leads where you want, while the person feels entirely in control of their selection. Remember the parent and the picky eater? "Eat your broccoli," invites defiance. The Machiavellian parent asks, "Would you like to eat 3 pieces of broccoli or 5 pieces before your fruit?" The child feels empowered, choosing their battle, yet both choices result in the vegetable being eaten. The outcome is fixed. The illusion of choice provides the sway. This plays out constantly in business. A savvy salesperson doesn't ask, "Do you want to buy this?" That invites a simple no. They ask, "Would you prefer the basic package that gives you core functionality, the professional package that boosts your efficiency by 30%, or the premium package with all the features and priority support?" All options assume a sale. The customer wrestles with which one to buy, feeling like the master of their decision, while the seller has successfully guided them past the buy or not buy hurdle. Machiavelli grasped that limiting choices within a controlled framework gives the powerful sensation of freedom while meticulously directing the final destination. It's about designing the maze so every turn leads to your exit. Equally crucial is the art of framing the narrative. Machiavelli obsessed over appearances, especially the appearance of virtue. How you present an idea, a problem, or a solution dramatically alters how it's received. The raw facts matter less than the story you wrap them in. Imagine 2 department heads announcing mandatory weekend work to meet a deadline. Manager A declares bluntly, "The project is behind. Everyone works this Saturday and Sunday, no exceptions." This creates instant resentment, fear, and passive resistance. Manager B, using suggestion, frames it differently. "We've hit a critical point on this project, and our client is counting on us to deliver something exceptional. Working this weekend is a big ask, I know, but it's our chance to really shine as a team, to pull together and show what we're capable of. It's about protecting our reputation for reliability and ensuring this client and future clients see us as the go-to team. Let's get this done and celebrate our success next week." Manager B links the demand, the suggestion of weekend work, to the team's own potential desires for achievement, reputation, team pride, and future success. The unpleasant reality is the same, but the narrative makes it feel like a shared challenge, an opportunity, rather than a punishment. The suggestion is embedded within a positive frame of collective benefit. Machiavelli knew that controlling the story controls perception, and perception controls action. Machiavelli's true fuel for suggestion lies in exploiting existing desires and fears. People naturally crave security, status, advancement, comfort, love, or relief from pain. The master suggester acts like a locksmith, identifying the key desires already present in someone's heart or mind, and then positions their idea as the perfect key to unlock it. A politician doesn't just say, "Vote for me." They tap into deep-seated anxieties. Feeling unsafe in your own neighborhood. I will put more police on the streets and toughen sentences. Or they tap into aspirations. Dream of a better future for your children? My education plan will rebuild our schools and give every child a real chance. They aren't inventing the fear of crime or the hope for better schools. They're amplifying what's already simmering and positioning themselves, their suggestion, as the indispensable solution. Consider a homeowners association debating a costly new security gate. Someone opposed might not yell, "It's too expensive." Instead, they might subtly suggest, "Increased security sounds wise, absolutely. But have we fully considered how this large visible gate might actually attract attention, making us seem like a target? And what about the impact on our property values if it makes the neighborhood feel less open and welcoming? Perhaps investing in better street lighting and neighborhood watch coordination addresses safety more effectively without those downsides." Here, they tap into the existing desires for true safety, not just the appearance, maintaining property values and preserving a welcoming atmosphere to sway opinion against the gate, framing their opposition as a more prudent way to achieve the shared goal. Creating the illusion of consensus is another potent Machiavellian lever. He understood the immense power of perceived popular support. Humans are inherently social. We find comfort and safety in the herd. Suggesting that everyone else thinks this, or the general feeling is, can be incredibly persuasive, often bypassing critical thought. Think about product marketing. 9 out of 10 cat owners prefer Whisker Love. Immediately sways potential buyers. Or imagine a workplace meeting discussing a new policy. A colleague might say, "I was chatting with folks from different teams over coffee this week, and honestly, there seems to be a real groundswell of support for streamlining this process, even if it means some initial changes." This vague reference to folks and groundswell creates an unspoken pressure. Who exactly? How many? What exactly did they say? It often matters less than the suggestion of widespread agreement. Resisting the idea suddenly feels like standing alone against the tide of popular opinion. This leverages the core Machiavellian principle that the appearance of strength, popularity, and inevitability is often more powerful than the reality in shaping behavior. It makes compliance feel like the natural, socially acceptable path. Reputation, Machiavelli constantly stressed, is paramount. Suggestions land with vastly different weights depending on who delivers them. People are far more easily swayed by someone perceived as knowledgeable, experienced, trustworthy, successful, or possessing authority. A respected doctor suggesting you quit smoking carries immense weight compared to the same advice from a stranger on the street. A renowned investor's tip about a stock is eagerly followed. This isn't solely about actual expertise. It's deeply tied to the perception of virtue, capability, and reliability that Machiavelli emphasized. Cultivating a strong reputation as a wise leader, a successful entrepreneur, a caring friend, or an expert in your field acts like a force multiplier for your suggestions. You don't need to argue as vehemently. Your words carry inherent persuasive power. Conversely, a key Machiavellian tactic is undermining a rival's reputation to weaken their influence. Whispering doubts like, "Well, you know Sarah always resists anything new, she's just afraid of change," effectively poisons the well before Sarah even makes her suggestion. Her ideas, regardless of merit, become easier to dismiss because her character has been subtly framed as flawed or self-serving. Controlling reputation controls the reception of suggestions. Machiavelli's concept of managing fortune heavily applies to suggestion as timing. A brilliant suggestion offered at the wrong moment is often useless or even counterproductive. Trying to propose a complex new strategy when your boss is stressed about a quarterly loss? Pointless. Suggesting a major lifestyle overhaul to a friend who's just been dumped? Unlikely to succeed. The master suggester is a patient observer, waiting for the opportune moment, when the target is receptive, when the problem feels most acute and painful, when emotions are aligned with your message, when circumstances create a natural opening. Imagine trying to convince your partner to take a big, adventurous vacation. Pushing it when they're overwhelmed with work stress will fail, but bringing it up when they're sighing about routine, reminiscing about past trips, or feeling a burst of energy, that suggestion lands on fertile ground. Machiavelli understood that fortune, the unpredictable flow of events and circumstances, must be seized when it favors your aims. Recognizing and acting during these windows of receptivity makes your suggestion far more likely to take root and sway the decision. Perhaps the most elegant and effective Machiavellian suggestion tactic is letting the other person claim the idea as their own. This requires patience and subtlety. You plant the seed through careful questions and observations. You gently water it by highlighting specific problems or opportunities you want addressed. You provide just enough information, but you resist the urge to declare the solution. You guide them to the edge of the conclusion and let them jump. Sales in Region X have been really sluggish for 3 quarters now, despite the overall market growth there. What do you think might be the root cause? You ask your colleague. You listen, perhaps adding a nudge. Interesting point about marketing. I did notice their local ad spend is lower than competitors. Eventually they say, maybe we are underinvesting there. Perhaps we need to shift some budget from Region Y, which is saturated, over to X for a real push. You respond enthusiastically, "That's a really sharp observation. Redirecting resources to Region X could be exactly the catalyst we need. Let's flesh out that idea." They feel intelligent, insightful, and completely invested in the plan. The suggestion, your desired action, has been successfully planted and harvested, but it feels like their brainchild and their victory. Machiavelli prized results above ego. He knew that achieving the desired outcome matters infinitely more than claiming personal credit. By allowing others to feel like the originator, you secure their passionate commitment far more deeply than any direct order ever could. Their pride becomes the engine driving your agenda. Real-life glimpses in action. 1. The decoy effect. A tech company offers 3 subscription tiers: Basic $5 a month, Professional $15 a month, and Enterprise $50 a month. The expensive Enterprise tier seems excessive to most, but its real purpose isn't to sell. It's to make the Professional tier seem like a reasonable, valuable, mid-priced compromise compared to the extremes. The suggestion isn't buy professional, it's subtly reframing perception so $15 feels like the smart, moderate choice. This is option control and framing combined. 2. The office whisper network. A senior leader wants to stop a project they see as doomed. openly killing it might cause backlash. Instead, they casually express concerns about its budget overruns and timeline risks to key influencers over coffee chats. Soon murmurs grow. Have you heard the doubts about Project Alpha? Yeah, sounds like it might be a money pit. Eventually, a mid-level manager, believing they're responding to emerging consensus, suggests a review or scaling back. The leader gets their outcome without issuing a single direct command, using reputation and manufactured consensus. 3. The limited time offer, sale ends Sunday, or only 3 left in stock. These aren't just facts, they're suggestions tapping into the powerful human desires to avoid missing out, fear, and to secure a good deal, gain. The urgency is manufactured, but the suggestion that immediate action is needed exploits existing psychological drivers. The friend's nudge. Your friend is stuck in a dead-end job but terrified of change. Pushing them to quit is risky. Instead, you exploit their existing desire for respect and growth. Remember how excited you were talking about that coding course last year? You seemed so passionate. I wonder what opportunities might open up if you finished it. Just a thought. You frame the suggestion, upskilling, as reconnecting with their own past passion and potential future, making it feel like their idea to rediscover ambition. 5. The political framing. Flip. 2 candidates debate a new security law. Candidate A, pro, this law is essential to keep terrorists off our streets and make our families safe. Exploits fear, suggests safety. Candidate B, con, this law sacrifices our precious freedoms on the altar of false security. It gives the government too much power to snoop on innocent citizens. Exploits desire for liberty, suggests government overreach. Same law, opposite suggestions, each tapping into powerful pre-existing core values of the electorate. The suggestion's sway, as illuminated by Machiavelli, isn't inherently good or evil. It's a fundamental mechanism of human interaction. Parents, teachers, friends, leaders, salespeople, and politicians all use variations of it, consciously or not. Machiavelli's contribution was to dissect it ruthlessly, stripping away illusions and revealing it as a primary, often invisible tool of power and control. His enduring insight was that the most potent influence often operates unseen. By mastering suggestion, shaping choices, crafting narratives, harnessing existing desires, leveraging reputation, seizing the right moment, and letting others claim ownership, you can guide people and events towards your goals. You achieve this not through overt domination, but by making them willingly choose your path, fully convinced they discovered it themselves. It's the velvet glove that makes the iron fist unnecessary, and it remains one of the most sophisticated and effective forms of influence shaping our world every single day. It's the quiet art of making your will seem like their choice. Seek wisdom